All the presidents that have, well, reigned in the United States have all been related.
Why do you believe that Hollywood was created by the CIA?
First off, you guys do know the Pentagon has a budget for film.
I know that.
That's a fact.
Are you part of the Illuminati?
Oh. Yeah.
Something dark is going on with the Shadow Work Journal.
First off, you guys do know the Pentagon has a budget for film.
I know that.
That's a fact.
Candace Owens isn't lying here. The Pentagon has been making films in Hollywood for over 100 years, which is pretty much the beginning. The first silent film was made in 1910. And Candace tells us why the government's in the movie-making business.
Because they're concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with, like, World War films, like, how are we telling a story about history? Usually it's because we're lying about what we did or trying not to make Americans aware of the crimes against humanity that we commit overseas.
And they've made a ton of movies like Transformers, Iron Man, I Am Legend, Black Hawk Down, James Bond, Captain Phillips, just to name a few. It even goes further and says that more than 2,500 films and TV shows have been supervised by the military and Secret Service. But honestly, this doesn't even surprise me, because anything that involves the military has to be approved by the Department of Defense, which means that the government has to approve the script before they can even get into production.
Just think of the power of the combination of artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and big data. So it's a combination of the different technologies which really bring the fundamental change. And finally, I think we have to be prepared for a world where we see a fusion of our physical, our digital, and our biological dimensions. So it will be a world integrating the physical, biological, and the digital dimensions. So it will be a new world. And I'm looking for a minister in 10 years. Probably it will be completely different from what it is now.
Did you know that one of the most famous paintings of Lincoln is actually a composite which places Abe's head on the Southern politician John Calhoun's body? This process of photo manipulation dates back to the 1850s, and it was used to trick people, just like we use Photoshop today. And they could do this by adding negatives in a wet collodion process which would allow them to extract and mix multiple negatives together for a final image. This photograph is titled General Grant at City Point. This is a montage or a composite of several images and does not actually show General Ulysses S. Grant at City Point. 3 photos provided different parts of the portrait: the head from Grant at his Cold Harbor, Virginia headquarters, the horse and the man's body from Major General Alexander McDowell McCook, and the background from Confederate prisoners captured in the Battle of Fisher's Hill, Virginia. This photograph is dated 1902.
Would you believe me if I told you that it's literally documented that it used to host seances at the White House? The White House is literally haunted. Franklin Pierce was the 14th president of the United States, and after he and his wife lost their son in a train accident, the wife became desperate for answers. That's when she invited the Fox sisters, who were like a family of mediums, to the White House to host a seance so that she can communicate with him again. And that's just the beginning, because it wasn't until the Lincolns moved in that hosting seances actually became a regular occurrence. It's documented that the Lincolns hosted as many as 8 seances while they were in office. And the White House was never the same after this. After Lincoln was it's theorized that his soul got trapped inside the White House. So many people who have stayed at the White House have claimed to have seen Lincoln's ghost that he is officially known as the White House ghost. There's this story about Winston Churchill. So he's staying at the White House one night, and apparently one of his favorite ways to relax at night is to take a bath with a cigar and a glass of wine. So he's taking this bath in one of the White House suites, and he gets out in order to go and get one of his cigars. He goes into the next room to get a match, and to his surprise, he sees President Lincoln leaning on the fireplace mantle. And embarrassed and naked, Churchill goes, "Mr. President, you seem to have caught me at a disadvantage." Lincoln turns around, looks at him, chuckles, and then just disappears.
This agency is going to create the vast weapon systems of the future. That is what DARPA does. They are always 20 years ahead of anything that you or I know. So any technology that is like, what the was that I just saw and you're not supposed to have seen, that's DARPA.
They were doing Neuralink in the 90s, right?
They are always doing things 20 years before you know about them, because they do what is called blue sky technology.
Blue sky research technology, yes.
But the point of this, when you say, is DARPA doing the most advanced technology? Maybe, but maybe there's another organization like NRO. I mean, people forget there are at least 17 intelligence agencies.
Walt Disney was the dark prince of Hollywood. If you closely analyze Disney movies, they're scattered with Masonic symbolism, mind control, indoctrination techniques, and sometimes even sorcery and black magic. Walt Disney was a demolay, which is one of the starting positions in Freemasonry. He even created a club within Disney in which you have to pass several tests and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to join and stay in the club. It's called Club 33. In Freemasonry, the number 33 is one of the most important numbers and a rank granted to the top Masons.
Where does the consistent trope of underground cities of lizard people come from? On January 29, 1934, the Los Angeles Times reported that G. Warren Shufield, a respected engineer and explorer, had found catacombs under Los Angeles. The article was titled "Lizard People's Catacomb City Hunted," and they provided a detailed account of Shufield's findings. According to the article, Shufield was using ground-penetrating radar, a device featured in many of the photos taken of him. With this device, he was able to map out an entire city. The map featured in the article described a massive underground city stretching from the Central Library in downtown Los Angeles through Pasadena and stretching all the way into the mountains. He also claimed that his team had discovered massive stone doors leading to deeper chambers, along with carved hieroglyphs and golden plates. True or not, this story helped fuel the legend of underground cities of lizard people.
We have to achieve the SDGs in 10 years. I'm going to talk about that, but with a quick introduction to the Better Than Cash Alliance. We're hosted by the United Nations, and we are an alliance of governments and companies and international organizations that are each committed, each has to commit before they join the alliance to moving away from cash to some form of digital option. We've got to solve this problem. And we have to solve it because we care about achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Did you know that every single government in the world has committed to these? Every single government to agree to these. The government of Norway, the government of Australia, the government of Ethiopia, the government of Rwanda. And the timeline is 10 years from now.
Alright, so I'm sitting here playing Rocket League at the moment. Every time I'm here by myself, I swear this place is haunted. I've been f***ing around with Ouija boards, and I was stupid enough to bloody invite demons to possess me and shit because I didn't believe in it. But ever since then, every time I'm here by myself, I hear outside. So I'm playing Rocket League. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, what the? No way. No way. Hello? Is anybody here?
Like and comment for part 2.
Holy shit, why is that moving? Hello?
Right in front of me, we got the hoot owl. You guys know what the owl is?
Well, yeah, that's... No.
Oh, no? Oh, we're just walking around and talking. I thought you saw it. We can walk away, though. We're just trying to learn what's going on with the owl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't know?
The locals were immediately on guard. You know anything about the Bohemian Grove?
I worked there before, yeah.
Worked there? Oh, what did you see?
A lot of things that I cannot talk about.
Actually?
Yeah.
Can you give us, theoretically, what might you have seen if someone were to work there?
I cannot talk about that.
Sign a document?
Nope, but I cannot talk about.
Partake in anything?
Have a wonderful day, sir.
Okay, wow.
Be careful, okay?
Be careful? Do you think we're dealing with things that are much more powerful?
Well, I can say.
What did he see? You know anything about the Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, I worked there like 10, 15 years ago. Oh, I don't want to be on camera.
Everyone here knew something about the Grove until they saw my little camera.
It's probably not a good place to be going unless you know what you're doing.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of rich, crazy people out there.
You're trying to get in?
My father was in.
Oh, he was in the club?
Yeah.
Who was he?
Mason.
Oh, he was a Mason.
39th.
Did you inherit his will? His Freemason will?
I can't disclose that.
Okay. Is there anything we should know?
Probably not.
Are you part of the Illuminati?
Oh. Yeah.
Is that really the truth?
No.
Are you a part of the Illuminati? Yes. No, I'm not.
All the presidents that have reigned in the United States have all been related. As it turns out, both Trump and Hillary Clinton are related to John of Gaunt, a 14th century royal. Gaunt was the first Duke of Lancaster, who was the son of King Edward III, according to my heritage. Trump is related through his mother, Mary Ann McLeod, back to his 17th grandfather, John Beaufort, while Clinton is related through her father and the Rodham family back to the 17th great-grandmother, Joan Beaufort. The two candidates are 19th cousins, and so they both have the right bloodlines to continue this lineage. Fascinating that the Bible doesn't speak about the presidents of the world, it speaks about the kings of the world. And it really, over the course of history, hasn't mattered which of the candidates has won, because the candidates have always both been in the same bloodline. Did you know all 44 US presidents have carried European royal bloodlines into office? 34 have been genetic descendants of just one person, Charlemagne, the brutal 8th century king of the Franks. That's a fascinating story, because Charlemagne is, of course, the one who was crowned emperor of the Roman Empire.
Want to see a messed up building? Just take a look at the Federal Reserve. Created by a group of bankers in 1913 after Jacob Astor mysteriously on the Titanic, it became the Central Bank of America, where they print money out of thin air and control our monetary system, and lend that same money to the United States on interest. It's also home to the most stolen gold bars and more connections to the Freemasons than George Washington. No wonder why there's cameras everywhere. And the security detail with more manpower than a small third world country. This really has the power.
Facts.
Funny how they call it the Federal Reserve, but the bank literally has shareholders. People own this bank, and it owns us. Why is God okay? Why does this building exist?
Censored, here's the weird stuff I love. Imagine your vision is totally normal, and then one day you see demonic features everywhere on people only, just like this, what you see behind me. Now that's a reality for a man named Victor Shera. He has extremely rare yet terrifying disorder called PMO, and it's commonly known as, or now known because people didn't know about it at first. It's called the demon face syndrome. People with the condition see parts of other people's faces distorted in shape, texture, position, or color. For Shera, that means grotesque, grimace, elongated eyes, and deeply etched scars. Also pointed ears. There are 75 known cases of the disorder.
Did you know Apple just applied for a patent so that they can retrofit AirPods to read your mind?
Oh.
Or they didn't apply, they filed a patent. So what it is AirPods, they're fitting them with like electromagnetic sensors. And do you guys remember when we talked about they could hook a like brain machine up to a person and they could look at something and they could use AI to generate the picture?
Yeah.
So that technology, rather than a full helmet, they have successfully mapped via sensors in AirPods. They've successfully done the same thing. And so what they said, I was reading in neuroscience.com or something like that. I was reading an article and it said what they're able to do is read that sensor, and they said everybody's electromagnetic pulses are different. And so it's not just an immediate read what you're thinking and then regurgitate it. It's a process of learning. And so they mine and log all of the thoughts, all of the pulses. And so,
are these in the current headphones?
Sure. No.
Yeah. They may be testing stuff, who knows?
But they said, the article I found said they did it successfully 5 years.
Something dark is going on with the Shadow Work Journal. That is literally a demonic witch's grimoire. So the reason why the book is called Shadow Work is because it deals with the psychology of handling your shadow self. It comes from this idea called Jungian psychology, where you seek to bring balance and union between the conscious and unconscious parts of your mind. You have a personality that you show the public, and you have a shadow self, which is the part of you that remains hidden. And the purpose is to merge the two, bring out that hidden part of your personality. But this book is marketed as like therapy and dealing with your inner child. Now on top of that, it's about doing mirror work.
An ancient arrowhead was found made from materials not from Earth. Originally, this thing was found in the 1800s, and it looks like iron that had been rusted, but only recently did scientists take a deeper look. The metal was not from Earth, and they're saying it definitely was from outer space due to its composition. I think it was from a meteorite that fell in what is modern-day Estonia. People gathered the remnants of this meteorite and sold split in pieces. Somehow, due to trade, it ended up in Switzerland, because there was a really big trade route between Switzerland and a lot of the Eastern European countries at this time. They think this is where it was made into an arrowhead 3,000 years ago. Because this metal was so rare, they don't think this arrowhead was used for everyday hunting. And they're thinking that it belonged to someone of military status, but there's no way to say. I mean, this was 3,000 years ago. They're even suspecting that it had some sort of spiritual meaning, possibly. Or it could have been just for show. Again, there's no way to say it was 3,000 years ago. But they're doing more analysis to see where it came from.
I'm sure by now that many of you guys are familiar with the conspiracy theory that many of the elites and higher-ups in society are not actually human, they're amphibians or reptiles. And this video that I was tagged in is supposed proof of this. Behind me is a higher-up elite in society, the CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla. And specifically, people are referencing this very strange behavior that's going on with his neck. You can see that his neck almost moves up and down, very similar to how a bullfrog's would. And this is something that's seen with not just that clip, but this clip as well. You can see he's got movement on his neck. But this is certainly not proof, because humans have something known as a larynx, which has muscles that allow it to move up and down. This can happen when people are nervous, this can just be a normal tic that they go through without even thinking about it, or it happens when you're talking. And if you go to the mirror right now, you can also simulate this. So do we have undisputed proof that this guy is a reptile? But I will admit that this guy does it a lot more often than most people do.